Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. XRP market loses $790 million. And of course, we're referencing market cap there. And so there's this article from Daily Hodl citing such. Brand new from today. Of course, when I see stuff like this, I think, there's 2,000 coins or so on CoinMarketCap, plus or minus, whatever it is. I don't care what the exact number is. The point is, it's roughly 11 billion times as many coins as we need. Okay, we can agree on that, right? And out of all the coins that you could cite referencing market cap fluctuation as a result of the recent price turbulence, what's getting picked up here? Now, of course, Bitcoin gets cited a lot because it's the market leader. Fine. You know the only other coin you see it with, almost explicit, or at least it's substantially more in crypto media, it's XRP. You don't see as much of this, whether it's Ethereum or whatever coin of the moment is in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th place. You don't see it. But here we go. Poor little XRP getting picked on. And it's silly. So I'm gonna run through this now. Half of this article has to do with price, and I don't want to dig too much into price, actually, to be honest, in this video. I did want to cite this. And so I feel like I can cover, the beginning part of this article, but like roughly the second half of this or so. I am going to talk about it, but in a different video I'm putting out today, because I have another video mapped out that is going to talk a lot more about price, and oh my gosh, there's a lot to talk about. All sorts of chart analyst opinions, so I'll be getting into that, but that's not what this video is. I want to talk about this, and here's part of the thing that got me going down this path. So here's an article from Forbes, and it's titled, "Bitcoin isn't down because of China. It's down because you don't need it." And look, I'm gonna try to assume that this the writer of this, Oliver Rennick, is coming from a genuine place. I suspect that. Hopefully, when I say that, what I mean is it's opinions not being formulated based on any sort of ideology, because I hate that. I don't care if you're in crypto or out of crypto. I don't like it when ideology and tribalism blinds people. I'm really not a fan of that stuff. I like critical thinking. So I'm going to run through this specifically because it directly leads back to the concepts, and what I want to touch on this is that, because again, like I read through this article this morning and I was like, oh my god, I want to talk about everything that's in this. And it's the concept of all this is tied together. It has to do with the longevity of the entire crypto asset class and why it makes sense to invest from my perspective. Now, of course, none of this is financial advice because, let's be clear, I don't even have a financial background. I'm just the person within the XRP community that enjoys following this stuff as a hobby, and admittedly, I probably spend way too much time on it because I just happen to be that genuinely interested in it. And so I feel like I am rather well researched, and conceptually, I know exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. But before I speak any further on this, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, because there are worse ways to spend your time. All right, let's hop in. The price of XRP is in deep red territory, along with the overall crypto market. At time of publishing, the third largest cryptocurrency is down 7.8% at 20.98 cents, according to CoinGecko. In the last 24 hours, XRP's market cap has lost $790 million from $9.87 billion down to $9.08 billion. So a lot, but this is crypto, and it's volatile, okay? It's just a fact of life. There were luckily some fun comments to come out of this regarding the fluctuation of XRP price. Here's a tweet from a fellow XRP YouTuber, Digital Asset Investor. He wrote this: 22 cents, of course, referencing XRP. "If only I could talk my kids into diverting some of this Christmas money I'm about to waste on crap they will use for 2 weeks into XRP." Now that's pretty good. That kind of made me chuckle. I can appreciate that. Here's a tweet from King Solomon, who is at XRP_owl. "It's taking all the willpower I have not to buy XRP right now. The only reason I'm not is to wait for lower prices and pull the trigger massively. Also, I'm comfortable with my long-term position." And certainly I can appreciate that as well. Take a look at this tweet, and this is where I came across this article. This is Magic, and I'm going to share some of his opinions in a different video as it pertains to price action, but take a look at this. This is where I came across this Forbes article. This article mentions that the crypto space is oversupplied, which is something that I recently cited as a headwind to alt season. The phenomenon of rising volume and falling prices since the 2017 high suggests a severe oversupply despite rising demand. And to me, that seems like a non sequitur, but it's okay. I just still thought I'd read it, and we'll go ahead and dive in now. And again, Bitcoin isn't down because of China. It's down because you don't need it. Crypto markets are not reeling this week because China is cracking down on blockchain. Tokens have been getting slammed since the summer because most of them are unnecessary, and because the need for coins that may offer some utility is not as imminent as buyers thought it would be. That part rings true to me. Because look, my entire investment thesis, and if you followed me for any length of time, you know it's that utility matters and will win the day, right? And if you're new, you're going to hear me say that a lot. Utility matters and will win the day. It's the reason that I invest in XRP, and it's the only coin I continue to invest in, is because I think real-world adoption actually matters. So the fact that this guy cited that imminent, the utility aspect, it's not imminent, I think that's fair. Now, we see what's happening with XRP. There's a lot of adoption occurring right now. But still, I mean, you're talking about, even with Ripple having over 300 customers, a couple dozen of them are utilizing XRP, and XRP is a liquid to solve the world's needs today. It's growing out. Everything's growing out. So my perspective, we're on the right path here, but XRP is a liquid to solve all of the world's problems as it pertains to moving money around the planet. And there are regulatory hurdles in various jurisdictions, geographic regions. So Ripple is thankfully very adult about this and engages with governments the world over when setting up new corridors. But then once that happens, then you need to get liquidity providers in place. And so to me, perfectly fair point. Okay, cool. This is most obvious with King Crypto Bitcoin, whose purported use case as a store of value is not looking very compelling. And that's fascinating to me because it's like Forbes has already moved on from the concept of it being used as money. It's like, we've thrown in the towel on that. Now we've got the next alleged use case in quotation marks, this store of value. And what's fascinating is, so as it pertains to the value of crypto, everything is within the context of this particular use case, either store of value or utilization of Bitcoin, and not so much in this article, but utilization of Bitcoin in place of fiat currency. That's pretty much it. And that's a wrong way to look at this. And that's a big part of the reason I wanted to talk about this story and run through it with you. All right, the risk reward in Bitcoin has always been an extreme one, which is why its biggest proponent/salespeople assigned astronomical price targets to it. Widespread adoption is an extremely low probability event with an enormous payoff if the stars align. And let's be clear, the things that need to happen for the world to turn to Bitcoin, a complete central bank impotence, widespread currency debasement, falling equity markets, and the abandonment of traditional gold, means betting on Bitcoin is essentially betting against the house. Hence the short bankers long Bitcoin meme. To say Bitcoin will offer a 100 times return, yet also say it's a highly probabilistic event, is inherently contradictory and hugely dishonest. I don't like that narrative necessarily. Now, look, there are Bitcoin maxis that would say, yes, this is the narrative, this is what we believe, but in reality, this is not actually what is happening here. You're talking about, it's the whole concept of, like, I always complain about this from people's point of view, down with banks, down with government. No, that doesn't have to happen for cryptocurrency to have staying power for the long term. Rather, take a look, and again, I'm an XRP holder, this is an XRP-centric channel, so I'm always coming at it from that angle. As it pertains to XRP, I know that businesses need it to conduct their businesses utilizing a specific business model. Without XRP and the way in which that is used within RippleNet, specifically on-demand liquidity, they can't do what it is that they're doing today. And they're already operational corridors. That goes back to utility. I know that they need it. That's going to be there. And that's why I, and probably you and everybody else that's bought XRP, that's done any level of research, understands that given the utility, that's what's going to result in it having staying power. But even if you're not looking at it that way, even if you're talking about, even if you want to say you're hedging your bets, or you think that maybe there's something to this and we just don't know what. Well, I got to tell you, it doesn't mean that the world needs to collapse for there to be an adoption of cryptocurrencies. Most certainly not. There is indeed something to this. I mean, gold doesn't, look, they write in here, abandonment of traditional gold. Who says that? Well, this writer says that. To me, that's completely nonsensical. Why does gold have to be abandoned? What about diversity amongst different asset classes? Isn't that a reasonable approach? What's wrong with that? This is just one brand new asset class. It's another way to diversify, and there is real world utility. And so I know crypto is here forever. I don't know the way this is all going to pan out. Maybe Bitcoin does eventually go extinct. It goes the way of the dodo, essentially. That's perfectly possible. It could, but crypto itself is here to stay. And so those coins that are going to stay in power it's going to be those coins that have utility. But I don't like the way it's being framed here, is that if the world has to go to hell in order for there to be any sort of adoption here, that's just not the way that this works. And the reason is different people want different things, and different cryptocurrencies fit different use cases based on their technical attributes. And they get built out. The ecosystems are built out because different humans have different motivating factors. And that's completely not represented within this article. And I think that most people just don't understand that. And that's why I hope I'm not sounding too harsh. Sometimes I don't think that Oliver here, it's perfectly, it's not like he's doing anything horrendous here. I just happen to disagree with this gentleman. So just call it gentleman's disagreement if we can. So anyway, the piece continues. The market is now realizing this as the global economic slowdown of the last 9 months shows signs of stabilization, and the Federal Reserve sees no need for more interest rate cuts. The case for Bitcoin is taking body blows. Look, I gotta tell you, I don't think that any of that is true. I think that humans, here's what's going on. You know what's really going on? Humans know that there's something to this whole crypto thing, but they don't exactly know what. They know that things can be done with this technology that couldn't be done if they didn't exist, and so they're throwing money in. But I don't know that it has, there's not enough overwhelming evidence to show that all these other factors citing within this article are what's really swaying this. I think it's mostly that there's a frenzy around the new technology that most people don't understand and don't know the way things are going to unfold, and people are being stupid with their money. Just like you saw with the development of the internet and the way in which humans invested in dot-coms, right? You know, the dot-com companies, as they were called affectionately back then. It's the same thing here. It's humans being humans here. And so it's not as much. I'm not saying there's no effect with this other stuff and taking into account other factors around the world, but that's not what's happening. This technology is so transformative that is what's paramount here. That's what's at the forefront of everybody's mind, not as much the rest of the stuff. And if you disagree, show me evidence. Show me studies. Show me surveys that would lead you to believe these things. Because I haven't seen that evidence. If you can point me in that direction, fine. But I haven't seen enough of it to show that's the indicator, and so I just don't agree with this. To me, it's more like an opinion without an underlying fact. Anyway, none of the stories about adoption are turning out. Big tech giants from Facebook to Google are doing everything possible to dominate electronic pay and finance, and projects designed to make Bitcoin a means of exchange are either slow, fruitless, or both. In short, the house does not look like it's in a losing position just yet. And so Bitcoin is getting killed. Sure, the US and China could have a major fallout, get into a currency war, and Chinese citizens could rush to crypto as a way to get money out of the system. That's why Bitcoin will never be worthless, and why every investor should watch its price action. But that scenario is looking way, way further away from a reality than the crypto knights had so many believe. Well, that's only if you're talking about the Bitcoin maxis, though. There's so much other to do with this, and if you just research the space, you can find out that is indeed the case. Anyway, Bitcoin's violent moves are a factor of the speculative nature described above. Because its probability of success is low, it is closer to a roulette wheel than any traditional asset class. Well, duh, it's brand new. I just covered that. This is not surprising, I hope, to people. Anyway, average people were lured into the Bitcoin sales pitch in 2017 when the economy was tearing hot, cash flow was heavy, stocks were churning out huge gains, and people could afford to take a gamble. Why not roll the dice? Now those buyers are losing faith in their chances of winning and are using this year's rally to get out. As the fundamental reason for owning Bitcoin as a store of value also loses luster amid a stabilizing economic situation. Show me evidence on that. Come on. The true believers may start bailing out too. If it continues, it should be a warning sign to more traditional investors who made a similar bet in gold, and maybe even those who ran to treasury bonds as a hedge against chaos too. I just don't share this guy's point of view. It's okay. He didn't say anything completely outlandish. It's just it's to me it wasn't something insightful. He's basically the towing the party line of the Bitcoin like the opposite of the Bitcoin maxi business. Like that's pretty much it. That's basically what we're seeing right here, and it doesn't show a greater understanding of what the types of things that are actually going on here. I don't think that it shows an understanding of why people are actually behaving the way they do. He put out some claims saying people are doing this because, and then there's no evidence. And I just to me, it just doesn't make any sense in any sense at all. And, as far as what I'd point to, to support my position specifically is I'd say take a look at history. And again, the most recent example, like I cited, was the .com. This is the way that humans behave. And so, given that there is a pattern of this, when there's new technology out there and people get crazy with money, why would you think necessarily that it's something else? So, I don't know. Look, so as far as the volatility, it's here to stay for a long time. This is, look, a decade in this asset class, people have not figured this out, and it's going to take a long time. So all of these headlines, 790 million XRP lost in terms of dollars. Okay, for now, check back in a few hours. If you don't like the price now, check back in like 5 minutes. Things change fast around here, and I don't think that it's particularly useful to take a look at it with such a short-term lens or such an arbitrarily chosen timeline. When you consider just 5 years ago, what was the market cap for the entire asset class? It was like nothing. The entire asset class used to be smaller than the market cap for XRP, and that was with no usage, none, like literally none. I do mean zero. So, I'm just saying that for me. I understand that this is volatile and things could get a lot worse price-wise before they get better. I do understand that, and that's why I only put in money that I'm willing to lose in case I'm wrong. And I don't think I am. I'm Mr. XRP Bull. But just in case, what if there's something that I didn't know? Or what if, in the case of XRP, what if there's some sort of bug that has yet to be found and taken advantage of that would render XRP useless or something completely outlandish like that, which I don't think has happened. I'm just saying it's the crazy what if that you couldn't foresee, and that's why for me, I'm willing to take that risk, and I'm willing to take the risk that there will continue to be adoption. But in the off chance I'm actually wrong, I only put in money that I'm willing to lose. So that's the position from which I'm coming here. But in terms of people don't need it, it's like it depends on what you mean by that. If you're saying don't need Bitcoin, well, fine, it's not currently really getting used for anything, but there is utility to be had there. So I guess I should probably just leave it at that. But I'm curious to hear what you all think. Feel free to drop some comments below, but that is it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!